Throughout history, humanity has built remarkable civilizations, cities of stone and sand, of rivers and mountains, of ingenuity and art. Some of these civilizations thrived for centuries, leaving behind legacies that shaped the world. Others, despite their brilliance, vanished, erased by time, nature, or circumstance, leaving only whispers of their existence. In this journey, we will explore the stories of these vanished civilizations, from the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, where humanity first learned to write and build, to the sun-drenched island of Crete, where the Minoans painted their lives in vibrant frescoes, from the mysterious streets of the Indus Valley to the towering pyramids of the Maya, from the cliff dwellings of the Ancestral Puebloans to the Moai of Rapa Nui and the rose-red city of Petra, carved into the desert cliffs. We will uncover how these civilizations rose, flourished, and faced challenges that led to their decline. We will marvel at their achievements, their art, their science, and their stories. And even in their disappearance, we will see the threads of their legacy woven into the fabric of human history. Let us step back in time, listen to the whispers of lost cities, and journey through the world of vanished civilizations. Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the very first great cities of humanity rose. Imagine the rivers flowing through a vast, fertile plain, carrying life to the earliest communities of farmers, traders, and builders. Here, humanity learned to write, to build, and to organize, giving rise to what we now call civilization. The Sumerians, around 3,500 BCE, were the pioneers. They built some of the world's first cities, Uruk and Ur, with towering walls and bustling markets. Their neighbors, the Akkadians, united much of the region under the ambitious rule of Sargon of Akkad, around 2334 CE. Later, the Babylonians rose to prominence, with King Hammurabi creating one of the earliest and most complete codes of law. Cities became centers of culture, politics, and religion. Uruk thrived as a hub of trade and innovation. Ur was a religious center, buzzing with activity and commerce. And Babylon, Babylon, its hanging gardens were whispered to rival the wonders of the world, while scholars studied, debated, and recorded the knowledge of their time. Everywhere, the Mesopotamians reached for the heavens. Massive ziggurats, like the one in Ur, stretched upward in devotion to their gods, standing as monuments to faith, ingenuity, and ambition. The Sumerians gave the world cuneiform, a system of writing etched into clay tablets. Through it, they recorded laws, trade deals, and epic stories like that of Gilgamesh, tales of heroes, gods, and the search for immortality. Temples doubled as libraries, where scribes preserved knowledge for generations yet to come. Mathematics, astronomy, and irrigation systems all blossomed here. They counted in 60s, mapped the stars, and engineered canals to bring water to crops in the arid plains, an incredible blend of science and practicality. But no civilization lasts forever. Around 2200 BCE, severe drought struck the land, threatening crops and survival. The Akkadians faced invasions from the Gutians, and later, Babylon felt the might of the Hittites. One by one, the cities that had once thrived were abandoned. Walls crumbled, buildings were swallowed by and life moved elsewhere. Yet traces remain. Ruins of ziggurats and city walls still stand, whispering of ancient ambitions. Thousands of clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform have been uncovered, revealing laws, stories, and daily life from over 5,000 years ago. The foundations laid by Mesopotamia, writing, law, cities, shaped the world for generations to come. Indus Valley Civilization, the Silent Cities. In the fertile plains between the Indus and Ghaggar-Hakra rivers, a civilization flourished that left behind no towering monuments or epic writings. Yet, its cities spoke volumes. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, with streets laid out in perfect grids and drainage systems far ahead of their time, reveal a society of remarkable sophistication. But what became of this enigmatic civilization? Its story is one of innovation, mystery, and a gradual fading woven into the very soil of the Indian subcontinent. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, thriving between 2600 and 1900 BCE, were marvels of urban design. Imagine streets running straight and orderly, lined with standardized brick houses, with water flowing neatly away through advanced drainage channels. Every aspect of city life, from homes to public spaces, was carefully planned. The people thrived on agriculture, growing wheat, barley, and cotton, fed by the life-giving rivers. They traded far and wide. From Mesopotamia came precious lapis lazuli and beads, and their economy buzzed with craftsmanship and skill. Artisans created delicate beadwork, pottery, and metal tools. Small seals, etched with animal motifs and mysterious undeciphered symbols, hint at a complex system of trade, administration, or even religious practice. Every object tells a story, though the language remains silent. The cities were filled with ingenious public structures, baths where people could cleanse themselves, granaries and warehouses to store food and goods. Everything was built with care and purpose, reflecting a society that valued hygiene, organization, and community life. The Indus script remains one of history's great mysteries. Found on seals and tablets, it has resisted every attempt at decoding, leaving us to wonder what secrets it held, records of trade, ritual, or laws, perhaps now lost to time. Everywhere, we see hints of art and religion, figurines, pottery, and other artifacts suggest reverence for fertility, nature, and possibly deities that guided the lives of the people. Their culture was subtle, but rich in meaning. Yet all civilizations face change. Around 1800 BCE, the monsoon rains that nourished the region began to weaken. Droughts spread across the plains, threatening crops and water supply. At the same time, the Ghaggar-Hakra river system began to shift, dry or vanish, forcing communities to look elsewhere for survival. By about 1700 BCE, major cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, were abandoned. There was no conquest, no fire or war, simply a slow, quiet retreat. Buildings fell into disrepair, streets emptied, and the once thriving centers of life became silent. Today, the ruins of Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, and other settlements stand as silent witnesses to this vanished civilization. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of artifacts, pottery, tools, and seals, each offering a glimpse into daily life, trade, and culture. Though the Indus Valley civilization faded, its legacy lives on. The innovations in urban planning, drainage, and trade influenced later societies in the Indian subcontinent. The echoes of its careful, thoughtful design can still be felt in the centuries that followed. Minoan civilization, the enigmatic masters of the Aegean. On the sun-drenched island of Crete, a civilization rose that dazzled the ancient Mediterranean with its art, architecture, and mastery of trade. Named after the mythical king Minos, the Minoans built magnificent palaces adorned with vibrant frescoes, intricate designs, and grand courtyards. Yet, despite their brilliance, they vanished, leaving behind only whispers of a society that once thrived among the waves and hills of the Aegean. The story begins around 3000 BCE, as small communities on Crete slowly evolved into a complex society. Streets, palaces, and storage facilities began to shape the island's towns. By 1600 to 1450 BCE, the Minoans had reached the peak of their power. Palaces like Knossos and Phaistos became the heart of political, religious, and economic life. These sprawling complexes were centers of ceremony, governance, and culture, alive with movement and color. The Minoans were not isolated. They established extensive trade networks across the Mediterranean, reaching as far as Egypt and the Near East. Through trade, ideas, materials, and art traveled, leaving traces of Minoan influence far beyond the shores of Crete. Their art captured the vibrancy of life. Frescoes depicted nature, rituals, and daily activities, bulls leaping, dancers twirling, and scenes of the sea. Palaces were not only beautiful, they were marvels of engineering. Advanced plumbing, complex layouts, and open courtyards allowed life to flow efficiently and gracefully. Writing was part of their world too. The Minoans used two systems, Cretan hieroglyphs and Linear A. While Linear A remains undeciphered, it hints at administration, trade records, and religious practice, leaving us with tantalizing mysteries we may never fully understand. Religion touched every part of their lives. Nature deities and fertility cults were central, and sacred caves and mountain sanctuaries became places for worship, rituals, and reflection. Then came disaster. Around 1450 BCE, the eruption of the Thera volcano on modern-day Santorini sent tsunamis crashing onto the coast and blanketed the land in ash. Coastal settlements were destroyed, and trade routes were disrupted, shaking the very foundations of Minoan society. In the aftermath, the Mycenaeans from mainland Greece began to exert influence over Crete. They adopted Minoan art and architecture, yet introduced their own political systems, gradually reshaping the island's culture. By 1100 BCE, the Minoan civilization had largely faded. Invasions, internal struggles, natural disasters, and economic downturns all played their parts. What was once a thriving society of color, trade, and creativity became history's whisper on the wind. Today, the ruins of palaces at Knossos, Phaistos, and Zakros tell us stories of Minoan life. Frescoes, pottery, and jewelry reveal their artistry and aesthetic sensibility. And though the Minoans vanished, their influence endured through the Mycenaean eons and later Greek civilizations. Echoes of Minoan art, architecture, and mythology can still be seen, whispers of a vibrant society that once danced in the sun-soaked hills of Crete. Maya civilization, masters of the rainforest. In the dense, green jungles of Mesoamerica, a remarkable civilization took root, blending seamlessly with its environment. The Maya were masters of the rainforest, building towering pyramids, developing complex calendars, and creating a written language that recorded their history. Cities like Tikal and Copan were marvels of architecture and urban planning, alive with the sounds of marketplaces, temples, and ball courts. Yet despite their brilliance, the Maya civilization faced challenges that transformed their world, leaving a legacy that continues to captivate us today. The story begins around 2000 BCE, when early agricultural communities developed in the Petén region of Guatemala. These small settlements sowed the seeds for the complex societies that would later flourish among the dense forests. During the Classic period, from 250 to 900 CE, the Maya reached the height of their power. City-states such as Tikal, Calakmul, and Copan became centers of culture, religion, and politics. They built monumental pyramids, grand palaces, and ball courts, connected by an intricate network of raised roads called Sakbayab. Population grew dramatically, with estimates of up to 16 million people at the civilization's peak. Advanced agricultural techniques, including terracing and irrigation, allowed them to cultivate maize and other staples, sustaining vibrant urban centers deep in the rainforest. The Maya were scholars and astronomers. They developed a sophisticated hieroglyphic writing system, recording history, politics, and ritual on monuments, codices, and ceramics. Calendars guided every aspect of life. The Tzolkin for ceremonies, the Hab for the solar year, and the long count to track the passage of centuries. The stars were their guides. Maya astronomers observed celestial bodies with precision and even developed the concept of zero, weaving their understanding of the cosmos into architecture, rituals, and daily life. Art and architecture were inseparable from society. Intricate carvings, murals, and sculptures adorned temples and palaces. The towering pyramids like El Castillo at Chichen Itza dominated the skyline, while expansive palaces held detailed reliefs depicting gods, rulers, and myths. By the 9th century CE, many southern cities experienced political collapse. Urban centers were abandoned, monumental construction ceased, and political power shifted north to cities such as Chichen Itza. The southern lowlands, once bustling with life, grew quiet. Environmental changes played a role as well. Deforestation and soil degradation, perhaps worsened by prolonged droughts, strained agriculture and water resources, making it harder for cities to sustain large populations. Yet, the Maya story did not end. From 900 to 1500 CE, northern cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal thrived. New political entities rose, rituals continued, and cultural practices endured, carrying the Maya legacy forward even as some cities fell into ruin. Today, the ruins of Tikal, Copan, Chichen Itza, and many other cities stand as silent witnesses to the Maya's ingenuity. Archaeologists and visitors alike marvel at the pyramids, temples, and ball courts that remain. Thousands of artifacts, stelae, codices, ceramics reveal daily life, religious beliefs, and political history. The Maya civilization's contributions to writing, mathematics, astronomy, and art have left a lasting mark on the world, and their descendants, millions strong, continue to preserve and celebrate the rich culture of their ancestors, keeping the story of the rainforest masters alive. Ancestral Puebloans, builders of the cliffs. In the high deserts of the American Southwest, a remarkable civilization rose, shaping its rugged environment with skill and ingenuity. The Ancestral Puebloans, often called the Anasazi, built intricate cliff dwellings and multi-story stone houses, mastering the art of living in harmony with a harsh landscape. Their communities, connected by trade and tradition, thrived for centuries before gradually disappearing, leaving behind silent stone cities that still echo their creativity and determination. The story begins around 100 CE, when early settlers began farming in the Four Corners region, the area that now includes Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. With careful planning, they cultivated maize, beans, and squash, using irrigation channels and terracing to make the most of the arid land. Between 900 and 1300 CE, communities expanded into complex villages. Cliff dwellings, like those at Mesa Verde, and sprawling pueblos at Chaco Canyon, showcased remarkable engineering. Multi-story buildings were carefully planned, reflecting both social organization and practical ingenuity. Their architecture was breathtaking. Houses and ceremonial structures were often integrated into natural rock formations, offering protection and harmony with the landscape. Kivas, circular subterranean rooms, became sacred spaces for rituals, gatherings, and religious ceremonies. Trade connected these communities across the Southwest. Turquoise, pottery, and woven textiles traveled long distances, linking settlements and spreading culture. Every artifact, from pottery to baskets to textiles, reflected both practical use and artistic expression, displaying intricate designs and patterns that told stories of daily life and belief. Yet even the most resilient societies faced challenges. During the 13th century, prolonged droughts reduced crop yields and strained resources. Deforestation and soil depletion made sustaining large communities increasingly difficult, and tensions likely rose as competition for food and water grew. By around 1300 CE, many communities slowly migrated to more sustainable regions. The cliff dwellings and pueblos were left behind, silent but enduring, as people adapted to environmental pressures and sought better land for survival. Today, the ruins of Mesa Verde, Chaco Canyon, and other sites preserve the architectural achievements of the ancestral Puebloans. Pottery, tools, jewelry, and textiles reveal insights into daily life, trade, and ceremonial practices. The legacy of the ancestral Puebloans lives on. Modern Pueblo peoples are their descendants, carrying forward traditions, crafts, and knowledge passed down through generations. The cliff dwellings, though silent, continue to tell stories of ingenuity, resilience, and harmony with the land. Easter Island, Moai statues, and ecological collapse. In the remote expanse of the Pacific Ocean lies Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, home to the enigmatic Moai statues. Towering stone figures, some weighing as much as 86 tons, stand silently across the island, witnessing the story of a civilization that once thrived and faced extraordinary challenges. The tale of Rapa Nui is one of human ingenuity, environmental change, and the enduring spirit of its people. The first Polynesians arrived on Easter Island around 1200 CE, establishing a society deeply connected to the land and sea. They developed rich oral traditions, intricate social structures, and remarkable skills that allowed them to thrive on this isolated island. Between 1100 and 1700 CE, the Rapa Nui carved nearly 1,000 Moai statues from volcanic tuff. Each statue was placed upon a stone platform called an ahu, symbolizing ancestral power and religious significance. The largest of these platforms, Ahu Tongariki, originally held 15 Moai. One statue here weighs an astonishing 86 tons, making it the heaviest ever erected on the island. The Ahu platforms were more than pedestals. They served as tombs for the ancestors represented by the Moai. Many were carefully aligned with astronomical events, showing a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. The Rapa Nui also developed a unique system of glyphs, known as Rongo Rongo. Though undeciphered, these symbols hint at the islanders' complex record-keeping and spiritual life. Farming was carefully managed. Sweet potatoes, taro, and other crops were cultivated using terraces and fish ponds to maximize productivity, reflecting the Rapa Nui's ingenuity in an environment of limited resources. By the 17th century, the island's forests had largely disappeared, cleared for farming, construction, and the transportation of Moai statues. Deforestation caused soil erosion and declining crop yields, putting immense pressure on the society. Social tension rose as resources became scarce. Civil conflicts broke out between clans, and many Moai were toppled during these struggles. When Europeans arrived in 1722, they found a society already in decline. Subsequent slave raids and the introduction of diseases further devastated the population, leaving the islanders' once flourishing civilization deeply diminished. Today, the Moai statues remain as enduring symbols of Rapa Nui's cultural and artistic achievements. Archaeological and restoration efforts have preserved many of these magnificent figures for future generations. Cultural revival is underway. The Rapa Nui people are reclaiming their language, crafts, and traditions, breathing new life into the island's heritage. Environmental restoration projects aim to reforest the island and restore ecosystems, reintroducing native species and promoting sustainable land management. The story of Rapa Nui, like its Moai, stands as a testament to resilience, ingenuity, and the delicate balance between people and their environment. Nabateans, Petra, lost trade power and fading civilization. Hidden within the rugged cliffs of southern Jordan lies Petra, the jewel of the Nabatean kingdom. Famous for its rock-cut architecture and clever water management systems, Petra was once a thriving hub of trade, culture, and innovation. But as trade routes shifted, earthquakes struck, and political tides changed, this vibrant city slowly faded, leaving behind silent monuments carved from rose-red stone. The Nabateans chose Petra for its strategic location along major trade routes. Controlling the flow of incense, spices, and even silk, they turned the city into a wealthy and cosmopolitan center where goods and ideas flowed freely across the desert. Their architecture was breathtaking, carved directly into sandstone cliffs. Structures like the treasury, or Al-Khazne, and the monastery, or Ad-Dir, reflected both religious devotion and artistic mastery. Each facade tells a story, adorned with intricate carvings and elaborate designs. To survive in the harsh desert, the Nabateans became masters of water. Ingenious cisterns, aqueducts, and channels collected and stored rainwater, sustaining their growing population and allowing Petra to flourish where few other cities could. The Nabateans practiced a rich polytheistic religion, worshipping gods such as Dushara and Al-Uzza. Over time, their practices absorbed influences from neighboring cultures, blending Arab, Hellenistic, and Roman traditions. Art and daily life were immortalized in Petra's carvings and frescoes. Tombs, temples, and public structures display scenes of rituals, mythologies, and ordinary life, revealing a civilization that valued beauty, faith, and expression. Through trade and cultural exchange, Petra became a melting pot. Merchants, travelers, and artisans from across the ancient world left their mark, creating a city where cultures intertwined seamlessly. In 106 CE, the Roman Empire annexed the Nabatean kingdom. Petra remained a provincial capital, but its importance as a trade hub slowly waned. Overland caravan routes gave way to maritime trade, and the city's wealth began to decline. Nature also took its toll. A powerful earthquake in 363 CE damaged the city's infrastructure, including its vital water systems. As agriculture and daily life became more difficult, people began to leave, and Petra gradually emptied. During the Byzantine era, Christian churches were built, showing a shift in religious life. By the early Islamic period, Petra was largely abandoned, with only a few nomadic communities remaining amidst its silent monuments. Today, Petra stands as a testament to the Nabateans' ingenuity and artistry. Visitors can marvel at the treasury, the monastery, and countless tombs and temples carved into the cliffs, imagining the vibrant city that once thrived here. The blending of Arab, Hellenistic, and Roman cultures in Petra left a lasting impact on art, architecture, and traditions in the region. Modern preservation efforts protect the city and promote sustainable tourism, ensuring that the legacy of the Nabateans endures for generations to come. Petra, though silent, continues to tell the story of a civilization that mastered trade, water, and stone in one of the world's harshest deserts.